Hi everyone. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I did it as a Facebook Live a little while ago, and we're having a pretty dreadful storm that caused my feed to be interrupted and eventually cut off. So this video, I will cut it down a little bit so that it's not an excessive length, but it will include all of the information I shared there, plus what got cut off. So hang on, here we go. Talking about tongue tension in this second round of Tackle the Technique. I'm Mandy Moreno. I am a piano and voice instructor in North Dakota. I'm also a choir teacher, a church worship director, soon to be, hopefully, a body trainee with the Association for Body Mapping Education, and I'm pursuing a PhD in music education. So let's get on to the point. Tongue tension. This is a follow-up to a video I did last week talking about jaw tension. So if you haven't seen that, you now have the ability to pause. You can just pause this, go back and watch that one, or even just finish this and then go back to that later. I think you'll find a lot of information that goes together really well. So when we think about the tongue, most of us probably focus on the dorsum or the blade, this whole part that we see, that is the most visible. However, there are many muscles that make up the tongue and allow it to move in various ways. So I'm going to give you a quick, and I do mean quick, rundown of those muscles. To start, so let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all real quick to make this a little bit easier. So to start, we have the tongue itself. Here's a profile of the tongue, this whole blue bit. And really quickly, these all but the intrinsic muscle images that I'm showing you in this video are a program called Visible Body. It's a paid program that I have access to through one of the organizations I'm affiliated with. And it allows you to see all the different systems of the body, internal systems, muscles, bones, even the you can move the body around in 360, all the different angles. It's really incredible and an excellent teaching tool. Visible Body, check it out. So here is the tongue. I'm going to talk about first muscles that are around the tongue, which we call the extrinsic muscles. And first we've got the palatoglossus. This guy sits at the back of the tongue, back and top basically. And it can lift the back of the tongue, which as you can see where it's located, it can lift the back of the tongue and or the soft palate. Singers, we know all about soft palate. Non-singers, if you don't know, if you reach back behind, and don't choke yourself, reach back behind the hard palate or the roof of your mouth, you get to a soft fleshy part. That is the soft palate, and the palatoglossus can help to lift that. Next, the styloglossus. This sits kind of behind and below the palatoglossus. It's actually much longer. As you can see, this retracts the tongue, the back of the tongue, and also elevates the back of the tongue and helps to curl the central portion of the tongue. Moving right along, see, I told you we'd be fast. We have the hyoglossus, which sits behind and kind of beneath the tongue. This helps to depress it or to pull it downward. And the fourth extrinsic muscle for today is the genioglossus, which is more properly beneath the tongue, forward of the glossus, and along with that helps to pull the tongue forward. Moving on to the intrinsic muscles, or muscles that are within the dorsum or the blade of the tongue. This, believe it or not, was probably the most clear image that I found. If somebody's got a better image showing the intrinsic muscles, I would love to see it. And this is the only image that is not from Visible Body today. So first, we have the superior and inferior longitudinal muscles, which, as the longitudinal bit would help you assume, they run the length of the dorsum, front to back. They are responsible for shortening the dorsum and also curling the very tip of the tongue up and down. Next, we have the transverse, medial, and lateral. A whole bunch of words that when you find the muscle, they're horizontal. There are these horizontal lines in here. Those narrow the dorsum and can curl the sides upwards. You think back to being a kid and you made a taco with your tongue. Those are a result of the transverse muscles. And then lastly, we have the vertical, which are run up and down, the vertical muscles, and they flatten the tongue when they are contracted. There are the muscles of the tongue for this presentation. Now, to give you an idea of how all of this lines up with the jaw, which you can go back, again, I'll refer to last week's video and get more information about that, all the jaw things. Here's a reminder image of the digastric muscle, which this helps to open the jaw. So you can see in there, here's the tongue structure. I didn't hide all of the other muscles because just so you could see how much is really going on in there. But hopefully seeing this after seeing the muscles gives you just a glimmer of clarity into how all of this is connected, because they're tremendously connected. So with that said, I think it's fairly common knowledge that tight muscles are less than useful muscles. Muscle tension within the mouth, and particularly in the tongue, can be the result of a physiological factor, an excessively high or low laryngeal position, jaw or neck tension, hint, hint, or really tension anywhere within the vocal tract, anywhere from inside of your lips all the way down to the larynx, anywhere in there, tension anywhere in that space can create tension in the tongue. It's all very close and connected. So tongue tension could also be an unwitting result of trying to achieve a certain musical quality. You could end up with unclear vowels or consonants. You could be trying to restrain natural vibrato, perhaps for a particular kind of character vocal quality. You could have an excessive nasal tone. All of these things can play a role in causing or adding to tongue tension. So to that end, here are some exercises to discover and hopefully release some of that tension. The first is just a discovery exercise to find a neutral tongue position. So as in the previous video, we're going to allow the jaw to hang loosely. It's very loose. There's no activity going on. It requires no muscular activity to let your jaw hang loose. And while that's happening, hopefully your tongue is able to lie weightlessly on the floor of your mouth, just down on the bottom. The tip of your tongue should rest comfortably at the bottom front teeth, like so. There's the tip. And the middle portion should also be relatively neutral. You should be able to make a schwa, or for those who aren't familiar with a schwa, think about the word the and the E at the end of that, the way you pronounce that E. That's how relaxed that should be. If you find that it's not relaxed, here's another discovery that you can do. You can take your thumb and place it gently under your jaw in the soft area right behind your chin. Here's the bone of the jaw, the mandible. Here's that soft area. And if you press up with your thumb, you'll feel the base of your tongue. And then you're going to sing a simple 5-note descending scale on an ah. It's not going to be a beautiful sound, but this is discovery. This isn't performance. And I get to sound ridiculous for you first. So here's that, a 5-note descending on an ah. Ah. You will feel vibration, but hopefully you're not feeling the tongue contracting or hardening. If you are, that's a sign of some tension. So try it again, thinking about allowing the vibration, but not any additional work. Hopefully that released some. If not, here's an actual release exercise. I'll tell you what I'm going to do and then I will demonstrate. You're going to lodge the tip of the tongue behind the bottom teeth while sticking the rest of the tongue out as far out of your mouth as possible, like so. You'll look like somebody I think there's a moment in a Harry Potter movie where I think they eat one of the Weasley twins' candies and their tongue just like expands. Feels kind of like that. You're going to do a simple slide on an eh vowel, just like an EH, making sure that your tongue does not retract. You're going to see my tongue move. I'll just preface that. wasn't retracting a lot, but it wanted to move. I'll demonstrate again. I'm certain if you can't see it move, well, then I'm doing something really great because I feel it. It wants to retract. If it's going back and you simply cannot manage that exercise, let's add some more guidance. You're going to add a gentle, not even a bite, but sort of your upper teeth onto the top of your tongue. So here's without that. Here's what I just did. You can see the space up there. Now with my teeth, you will no longer see the space. Space is closed off. You're going to do the same exercise, a simple slide on an eh, but because of that reduced open space in your mouth, the sound is going to come out of your nose like a hum. The teeth can give you a lot of kinesthetic feedback, a lot of that feedback to feel what's going on, whereas perhaps before you couldn't feel it, all like you just didn't have that awareness. I will demonstrate one more time. My tongue wants to retract. It's just the nature of the business. So you keep doing it. You keep trying to just release that tension. One last exercise that is great to use with actual melodies is you can do a tongue trill. Some people call it a raspberry. And you sing your melody for 2 to 3 consecutive minutes, whether or not you want to set a timer, taking breaths only as needed, like so. So forth and so on. You do that for 2 to 3 minutes, breathing as needed, and then try to sing normally. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I will tell you right now, my tongue feels super relaxed. Because my body knows and my brain knows that I'm singing a song with words, it wants to do more, but the trill did release some tension, and so it is not quite sure what to do. With that said, if for you it didn't work, try it again. If at first you did all of that, you can repeat this process over and over again, different days, try it and mix it up with different exercises. But as with all practice, it will probably need to be repeated over time. The change will not happen immediately, but that doesn't mean that we can't at least experience a little bit of immediate change. Even if it's small, that's still positive movement, positive progress. So don't give up on it. Keep trying it. So there's some tongue tension talk for you. Because this is not live, I don't have the opportunity to answer questions right now, but put them in the comments on this, put them in the comments on the live flop, send me a Facebook message, hop over to the website, send me an email, ask your questions. I would love to answer them. I will also post a blog link tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. I will post it on Thursday with the written instruction for all these exercises that I just did, as well as a few resources where I gathered my information, but also some others that are just really excellent vocal technique and anatomy sources. Just a few, not to overwhelm you. And we will try this again next week. Lord willing, there will be no storms to interrupt my live video. And we will be talking about the aging voice. So Daphne Phillip Brown, this one's for you, or that one's going to be for you. And actually, this one, Bethany Fair, if I didn't say, this one is sort of your secondary one you got last week with the jaw tension. So thank you to both Bethany and Daphne for suggesting these topics. So that's the other piece. If you have an area of technique that you would like to see one of these videos done on, please give me that as well. I learn more by teaching more, and I would love to keep sharing ideas and things that people more knowledgeable than myself have passed on to me. And so next week, the aging voice. talking about how to keep working with the voice as it ages. And those of you following along right now who have younger voices, our voices will be the aging voices someday. So join in, watch that, and we'll just keep singing together. Thanks, you guys, for joining me. See you next